Today is Thursday, July 3, 2025. I'm Kira, your pastoral intern, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Our text for today is from Philippians 2, verses 14 to 16a. Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky as you hold firmly to the word of life. There are times I wonder, and maybe some of you have too, whether God might not have picked a more effective strategy for the building of his kingdom than this ragtag group of people called the church. Whenever I ask this question, I return to the writing of one of my favorite theologians, a missiologist and missionary in India for much of his life by the name of Lesslie Newbigin, because he answers it. Here's one of the quotes from his book, The Gospel in a Pluralistic Society, which helps me when I wonder about the church. He says, I have come to feel that the primary reality of which we have to take account in seeking for a Christian impact on public life is the Christian congregation. How is it possible for the gospel to be credible, that people should come to believe that the power which has the last word in human affairs is represented by a man hanging on a cross? I am suggesting that the only answer, the only hermeneutic of the gospel, is a congregation of men and women who believe it and live by it. This, I think, might be something similar to what Paul is getting at in our passage for today. Do everything without grumbling or arguing is quite a command. As is the expectation that his audience should become children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Why would he set such a high bar for struggling people? The reason, I think, has to do with what Lesslie Newbigin is articulating, that no matter what a church professes to believe, if it doesn't change the way they live, the gospel isn't going to seem all that convincing. To live out what we profess, or to shine in a context Paul describes as warped and crooked, means for the Philippian church and for us to acknowledge the way in which we ourselves are warped and crooked. We don't get to be self-righteous and assume that the warping and crookedness is only in the people around us. That's often where we get in our own way as Christians interacting with others outside of the church. If we are going to be effective witnesses, we're going to have to acknowledge our own failures first. This is part of the working out of our salvation with fear and trembling that Pastor Michael talked about yesterday, and the humility we talked about last week. But then, as Newbigin points out, when we have acknowledged our warping and crookedness and have received grace through Christ, the Spirit uses what we profess to work reconciliation and make an actual, tangible difference in the relationships and actions of members of the church as they interact with each other and go out into the world. It makes the church, as Newbigin says, the only hermeneutic of the gospel, or in other words, the way people understand and interpret what the gospel is all about. Neither Paul nor Newbigin makes this transformation optional for the Christian community. Paul insists it is part of the church becoming blameless and pure, and Newbigin suggests that for a community of people who seek to make the gospel credible, it's the only way. As Pastor Michael pointed out yesterday, sometimes it appears that Christians reduce the godly life to the gathering of correct information. Paul and Newbigin tell us that's not enough. Our lives need to reflect what we believe. But this isn't just another rule to follow. When we live this way, we ourselves will be blessed as we both receive and extend the grace and love of Christ. It's the beauty of the gospel. It really is good news. So as you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you, wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.